All right. Looks like we're back. Hello to everyone. So, I've got some slides prepared today also. And the video is called The Gnostic Takeover. The who, what, and where. Questions that I would like to answer. But first, again, give me the chance to share the upcoming live stream with everyone on the various platforms that I have. Alright. I'll be with you in due course. The who, what, and where. Basic questions. And there's a reason I'm only going into the 3 of those today. Because I have to see that I stay within the limits of an hour. And so I decided to split it into 2 parts. So I can also appropriately answer the question, when? When is it actually going to happen? When? Then, the why. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. You can imagine that the why brow is looking forward to answering the question why. Or maybe that's the one he struggles most. Isn't that the paradox of life? That the biggest catastrophes can turn out to be the biggest blessings. The highs are only reachable through the lows. So maybe we're looking at life the wrong way. That actually when things are bad, it's a sign that they're gonna be mighty good in due course when we decide so. Because we have our own life in our hands. No one else has that in our hands unless we give it to them. Well, I'm not freaking giving it to them anymore ever again, because you know what happens next. Right, it's been shared everywhere, and the Gnostic Takeover is being transmitted. It's great. Great to have you here. And let's head right into the slides, shall we? Good. I was talking in the last video, the comeback, as this is a comeback, that it is mighty important not only to input information, but also to really integrate all of the information that we get. This is how I take a lot of time. I'm also working on another magnum opus that is so big that I had to take more time for it in order for it to be at the required quality. I take more time for it. However, coming back to what I said in the live stream, the comeback, I've been taking time to really integrate and process all of the information that has been coming through to us. And I mean, it has just been quite the ride. Let me just flip back here. It just really has been quite the ride ever since I went to St. Corona and did the Corona job, as many of you may remember. For those who do not know what I'm talking about, go back to the videos that I did around the beginning of December. That was still when Errol Kaya was still present with us, and that mystery still has not solved. Still not clear. However, what we do know is Errol is in London again, has been so for many months, and he he does survival training for those who wish to partake. And up to this point still, after living off the backs of me and Liz, we have not heard a single bit from Errol. It's just completely out of our lives after he spent the best part of 1.5 years with us. Very strange, however, part of the Gnostic Takeover and its evolution, and I'm not hating on Errol at all. In actual fact, as I said, life is a great mystery and everything is in superposition. I'll be talking much more about this. Everything is in superposition, meaning that the strongest poison is actually the strongest medicine at the same time, if we can transform it so. And this is the sort of change of perception that I'm putting forward here at the Gnostic Takeover. Changing our perception that when things are bad, that we don't let the bad pull us down even further into the vortex of evil and being totally taken over by evil, not even through what I like to call the back door of Wetiko, Wetiko being the spirit of evil. Actually being aware how we're being played, and we're being played on so many levels, so therefore we need to wisen up, and this is what we're here for. So it's been quite the ride since St. Corona. We also, Liz was robbed of her child. We're still working on that, as all of this is tied to the integration work that we're doing, like the ceremonial work with, and I'll be speaking more about the plant medicine also in the coming videos and in this video. Working with plant medicine takes time, that you take time for it. This is not something that you just, the way they present it, the sort of how shall I say, the commerce that is being done with plant medicine, ayahuasca. Oh, you go to Peru for a week and you go and have an ayahuasca retreat for a week, and then you go back to your old life and the programs kick back in, your mind gets hacked, and your life really hasn't changed from the foundation level that much. And this is where we here at the Gnostic Takeover, we want to have a strong foundation, and that means a transformation of the basis, a base transformation. If it is not transformed from the roots, from the bases, then better not do any transformation at all. Because what's the point? The point is all about alignment with the one and only truth. And for that, we need to go deep. So it's important to input information. This is what the Gnostic Takeover is here for, the education of mankind, being a spiritual guidance for mankind, for everyone who's open and who is intrigued and resonates with the message here at the Gnostic Takeover. It's important not only to input information and make information entertainment. Oh yeah, I'm kind of interested in this truth. However, I'm only inputting information. When we don't process and output that information and complete the trinity process. There's a core principle, the trinity. Input, processing, output. And for a strong foundation, we need all of that. Not only do we input information, but we process and output it also. Because, sorry about that. I hope that, yeah, we're back. We're back live. Very good. Unfortunately, there was an interference here, but we can move on. Great. It's not just inputting information. This is like breathing. If we were only breathing in oxygen, and not actually keeping it in and breathing it out. Input, processing, output. And that builds a strong foundation, and we need a strong foundation to face what we need to face, to change everything. This is what I'm putting forward. And that's why I've taken the time to process information, all of the things that have been going on around us ever since we did the corona job. It's just been incredible. And the energies hitting the earth right now are something else, coming directly from the center of the sun, a representation of the source, the highest source of all creation. And the earth is being hit with a massive amount of energy, and those are information codes that we need to process. And this is what we're here to do also, is to log everyone on to the emerging new paradigm, to the emerging organic natural, to the original natural organic reality where we're getting the codes right now. And for this we need to go deep, and we need to have a strong foundation. We need to be that rock that shall never be moved, because we have that strong a foundation, meaning a connection with the one and only truth. So, the question that I like to delve into first, this is the first question we're looking into here, is who is the Gnostic Takeover? Well, it looks like it's me left after Errol has left the Gnostic Takeover. We used to be two. However, it's not just me, the Gnostic Takeover, it's also Liz, the Gnostic Takeover. It's also the group that we started, the Gnostic Initiation into the Gnostic Takeover, which is a very small group of those of us who wish to go deeper into the Gnostic Takeover. And if you are interested in that, because I want to keep it small still, everyone who's interested, we have a Telegram channel underneath, a channel and a forum, and just posted into the forum that you got the calling for the initiation group. And then I'll have to look at it, because already since starting the initiation group, I've already had to kick out 3 people because they turned out to be vampires. They try to infiltrate whatever I do, they try to infiltrate. So therefore, I have to serve my dedication to the truth, which is to protect the space. So true human connection can happen in the initiation group, strong human connection, and healing can take place. And they don't wish that to happen. They try to interfere at all points, and I'm here to kick them out. This is what I do. And then they want to make me look like I'm a control freak, this and that. I've had it all. When in actual fact, I'm just strong with the principles. I want to have that full alignment. So, no, it's not just me and my chavvy chase that is the Gnostic Takeover that goes deeper. Because everyone needs to know that the Gnostic Takeover is not just me and my opinion and how I see the world. I wish to remind everyone that the Gnostic Takeover is what I term the bond with ayahuasca and datura, the plant medicine that I have worked with, and that I have had 11 ceremonies up to now. Never touched ayahuasca until when was it? 2020, the end of 2020. That's when I first came into contact with ayahuasca, and ever since Saint Corona, the datura has been added, and there is so much to speak about this most intriguing of subject. that is the plant medicine. And I'll be speaking much more of it because there's just such a misunderstanding still of what it really is, and the biggest mystery is actually finding out what ayahuasca is, what datura is, and the incredible power it has to transform your perception and tune your perception to the truth. What I call ayahuasca and datura is the forces of ultimate power. And when we think about who the Gnostic Takeover is, the Gnostic Takeover is an idea, it's a field of consciousness. However, we'd be missing the point if the Gnostic Takeover is what Steve has created and what Steve is doing. It wouldn't represent the full picture at all if we do not consider that the Gnostic Takeover is the bond with the plant medicine, ayahuasca and datura. And as intriguing as ayahuasca and datura and plant medicine sounds, I do not recommend anyone to take ayahuasca and datura. All I say is that if you are meant to work with the plant medicine shows up in your life at exactly the right time. And that's what happened to me. I needed to stay away from the plant medicine all the time until it was the right time. And she knocks on your door in a straightforward manner, and you would know that it's time. And then you can really work with it, because it's one hell of a challenge, and you'll have to have a strong foundation already in order to be able to work with the plant medicine. So, the Gnostic Takeover is a field of consciousness in which it is actually difficult to determine what is my mind at this moment, my ideas, my thoughts, my actions coming from Steve, and what is the influence of the plant medicine, ayahuasca and datura, on the thoughts, the actions, the ideas that Steve is presenting. I have to say it's one and the same at the moment, and that bond, and a bond, if you look it up, the definition is a strong force of a bond, if you look up the definition, is a strong force of attraction. And that strong force of attraction I have with the plant medicine, ayahuasca and datura. Plant medicine is the medium to higher intelligence. The Gnostic Takeover is dedicated to connect you, the listener, everyone who's a part here at the Gnostic Takeover, to connect you with your higher intelligence and to activate your bond with the plant medicine. And you don't have to partake in plant medicine ceremony necessarily in order to connect with what is a field of consciousness. Okay? So this is why the Gnostic Takeover exists, because I give a platform for the plant medicine to speak directly through my voice. And as I say, I, at this moment, being absolutely honest with you, I cannot differentiate anymore between what are my thoughts and what is the plant medicine's thoughts and ideas. They're one and the same, because we are natural. We are meant to connect with our higher intelligence. That is natural intelligence. We're meant to connect with that. And that is a field of consciousness that we can connect to right now as you're listening to these words. Because that input of information is going to change your perception if you attune to it. And that is your choice if this message here resonates with you or if it doesn't resonate with you. Everyone is welcome to just switch off and say the Gnostic Takeover was not for me. That's fine. I don't look for followers. In actual fact, I've been losing followers with the work that I've been doing. I've been losing followers ever since Errol has left, and that is how it is meant to be. This channel is dedicated to give a voice to the intelligence of the plant kingdom, who are happily invited by me to take me as a vehicle to express the message of the plant kingdom, the message of the earth. That's what it's here for. And again, I do not give you a fish. I wish to show everyone how to fish. That's true education. That is true spiritual guidance for humanity. And that is what truly leads us to internal sovereignty. Sovereignty being independent of anything outside of the being itself. We are intrinsically connected with everything. It's all interconnected. It's one field, yes. However, what's mighty important in times of the corona being the crown, that has an intrinsic connection with kingdom and the archetype of the king, that is the true sovereign. We need to integrate sovereignty and be sovereign ourselves and stop following cult leaders. Stop thinking that people, for example, in the truth community are better or they're more intelligent than you or more intelligent. No, it's bollocks. It has to stop. We need to trust ourselves, not believe in ourselves. We don't do belief here at the Gnostic Takeover. We don't do religions. We don't do ideology, because ideologies and religions are at war with the truth. The Gnostic Takeover only does the one and only absolute truth, and is dedicated to give as clear a picture of the truth as is possible. And I'm not totally perfect in that. However, that is the aim. That's where all my work is oriented on, because I know that only the truth will make us free, will lead us to freedom. And I know that only higher intelligence can lead us there. Which goes along the saying, a problem cannot be solved with the same level of consciousness as that which created it. We need to raise our consciousness, and I would say we need to anchor the higher intelligence that we're endowed with by the source of creation and by our mother planet, Mother Earth, our home. And we need to activate that higher intelligence, and we solve all of the problems in the world. That's what the Gnostic Takeover is here to do. And working with plant medicine, it has been my experience. I feel like I fell into the pot of magic, like Obelix in Asterix and Obelix fell into the pot of the magic potion. That's how it's felt to me, especially since my last ceremony that I did on the 13 of February. Was the last time I partook together with Errol in ayahuasca and datura ceremony, and me and Errol at that day took a double portion of the medicine. That was due to we just went for the whole load, and ever since it is really this picture, it's felt like this, like I fell into a pot of the magic pot, the magic potion. And I'm now having, after all this input of information, because of that incredible experience that I've had, which I've also shared here on this channel. You can look it up in the description underneath. I'll link to where me and Errol talked about our experience. This is how it has felt to me. And all the input of information of that ceremony, I am now having to process and then output, which is the reason why I've been a little quiet over the last few weeks, because I'm having to integrate a lot and I'm having to take time for myself in order to build a strong foundation. And for that, you have to go deep to build that strong foundation, because that strong foundation is needed. The plant medicine, ayahuasca and datura, has a big plan that the Gnostic Takeover is fully dedicated to serve, and for that we need a strong foundation. And take time and trust the process of awakening, and all the answers will come at the right time. However, I just wanted to share that picture with everyone because that's how it has felt to me over the past few months. And the magic is coming back. It's really coming strongly on now. It's really coming. And asking who the Gnostic Takeover is the question, who am I? Yeah. We should be asking the foundational questions again. Otherwise, we're lost in identity programs and identifying with past state of being, when in actual fact we are constantly transforming as beings. And when someone asks me, who am I, or who are you, I would say I'm intelligence. Can also be said we are consciousness, we are souls incarnated here on this planet having the human experience. But I love being intelligence. That's how I like to term it. Intrinsic natural intelligence is working through me. And that's how you become, by activating intrinsic natural intelligence that is intrinsic to our being. We're meant to activate that intelligence. And then you become a medium to higher intelligence. And the medium that leads you to higher intelligence is plant medicine. The natural way. We need to go back to the natural. The solution is staring us in the face. It's nature. We need to go back to our origin. We need to go back to our original, become our authentic selves. And this is what I'm always working on my authenticity. Meaning, and sorry if you're easily offended when you use swear words. I like to use swear words sometimes. Being authentic means I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about me. I don't care. I like to have critical I like to have what can be called, how is it called, substantial criticism, where I can reflect. However, that's not what happens most of the time here in the online sphere. So for anyone who likes to mouth off in the comments, and I don't even read them. I don't care. I don't read them. I know who I am. I'm the only one who says who I am. And that's the confidence that comes with the bond of ayahuasca and datura. So people, what in the field of Wetiko, in the artificial Wetiko construct, is termed arrogance, is actually intelligence, is actually confidence. That comes from working with plant medicine. You get confident and you just say, what the fuck? I know who I am. I'm the only one who needs to know who I am. And I say who I am, and I say what I'm gonna do, and I say what I'm going to become. That's sovereignty. Intrinsic natural intelligence. And if there's one thing that we as mankind need, is confidence, which comes by having a strong foundation, strong roots, to be the immovable object, the rock that shall not be moved. That is what will change everything. And the awakening, which the Gnostic Takeover is all dedicated to serve, a natural awakening, also by eliminating all of the artificial, false awakenings. The awakening is activating the suppressed powers of natural forces. Because let me tell you, my experience with working with the plant medicine, ayahuasca, and then later during my work also with datura, and when I work with plant medicine, I add datura to ayahuasca because those two are meant to work together. You shouldn't be, in my book, in my understanding of plant medicine, one shouldn't take datura on its own at all. It's meant to work together with ayahuasca. Ayahuasca for healing, datura for power. And my experience has been that most shamans working with ayahuasca are dark occultists. They have been, the dark occult know full well the power that comes with plant medicine. They know full well that it's a medium to higher intelligence, and a dark occult priest class that wishes to control all of mankind in their control system, in all the different facets that they've set up this control system. Of course, they do not want you to have access to the medium to high intelligence, because that would break down their control system. Look what happens to a computer system, a laptop computer, or any computer device, when you put a magnet to it. Look what happens. It takes down the whole system. That's what we're talking about, the plant medicine. Higher intelligence is very dangerous, but dangerous to who? Dangerous to control freaks and their modus operandi of control. And they have been, the dark occultists have been putting a cap on the powers of natural forces, and especially ayahuasca, which, as I came to experience in my own life, was under control by Errol Kaya, who does not serve the course of evolution. He's actually a servant of the involutionary force. And he put a cap on ayahuasca and datura, and with the last plant medicine that I partook in with Errol, because a few days later Errol was eliminated from my life forever, I freed the plant medicine from that control it was under. And the biggest nightmare for these control freaks is to activate the suppressed powers of natural forces. And that is where We can really wake up. Wake up to what? Wake up to our originality. Wake up to our authenticity. Wake up to our natural being and remove and eliminate all of the mind viruses that are working through our minds that tell us a false version of ourselves. They need to go. And who is the Gnostic Takeover? Well, it's a channel for the forces of ultimate power that work through me. The forces of ultimate power, they work through intrinsic natural intelligence that it represents. It's the ultimate power, is our natural intelligence. And that we need to activate. It lies dormant within us, within each and every single one of us, excluding the vampire empire and its servants of cyborgs. They want to suppress the forces of ultimate power and the activation of the suppressed powers of natural forces, because it would eliminate the artificial control system. They want to suppress that. However, the Gnostic Takeover, when we ask who is the Gnostic Takeover, it is a channel for the forces of ultimate power to give their message to mankind. And it's not dedicated to tell you what to do. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to make sure that you'll be struck with the lightning of ultimate power. Not here to tell you what to believe, because we don't do belief here. As I said, truth is the enemy of belief. Therefore, we don't do belief. We try and eliminate all sorts of beliefs, because beliefs are actually ideological mind viruses, which need to be eliminated if we want to align with the one and only truth. The Gnostic Takeover is here so you be struck with the lightning of ultimate power. Or, as the quote by Socrates goes, education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. I'm here to kindle that flame inside of you. The Gnostic Takeover is a takeover of natural intelligence, taking us over and leading us to our authentic self and anchoring our authentic self in our being, in our mind and the heart, so we do not get deviated by ideological mind viruses again, because the foundation with the truth, our connection with the truth, is so strong that no artificial ideological mind virus can take hold of us anymore. So the question again, who am I? If someone asks me, I said, the intrinsic natural intelligence. Who am I? As Steve, what I represent is I am the High Commander of the highest source. And I am in alliance with the forces of ultimate power. I'm taking this planet back to who it belongs. That's what I am. Right now. That may change after the great work has come together, and I've been working on this all my life. Consciously now for 13 years. I've been working on what the Gnostic Takeover now is. I've been working 13 years on this. Hard work. And with that hard work, the fruits will come. And that's why I also say I do what I want. People can have healthy critiques about what I do, where I may be deviating. I'm always open for a critical analysis of my material here, also maybe something that I've missed out on. I'm always happy to look at that, but I do not read the whatever vampire tries to tell me. I don't even read that. You have no power over me, and I do not fear anyone. I'm facing my fears day by day, transforming them to my greatest strengths, and now I'm at a point where finally, once again, I'm celebrating a comeback, and this is just the beginning of what's to come, because there's a lot that's brewing. There's a lot that's brewing in that pot, and the Gnostic Takeover is being set up. It's a setup. Yeah, but I'm being set up by the alliance that I have with the forces of ultimate power, Ayahuasca and Datura. They're setting up the Gnostic Takeover for something very big, going public with the truth, taking back our planet, taking back our respective countries, and shine the true light of humanity, our heart, that is the heart of all creation, which is rooted in freedom. The Gnostic Takeover is being set up for something so mighty big, it is outside of the comprehension of everyone here on this planet, including me. However, I'm growing into that vision. That is the Earth's vision. That is the vision of the highest source of all creation. That vision is freedom. And for that, a strong foundation is needed. Therefore, we're going deep here. And therefore I say, I do what I want. Because I am sovereign. No one tells me what to do. Not my mother, not my father, not my anyone, not my spouse, not my partner, not my anyone. No one tells me what to do. I do what I want. That's freedom. That's the king archetype that we need. The king archetype doesn't come from some king that they've demonized throughout history. Now you wonder about why that is. Oh, and the only great thing that ever happened was the French Revolution of bloodshed that brought us democracy, which is actually Edward Benet's social engineering of mind control. That's what democracy is. Ever wondered why they demonize kings? Because the king archetype originates from the plant kingdom. I do what I want, when I want, wherever I want. It's called freedom, and everyone better get used to it, because once you start freedom, you won't end it. You want more. And if you think there is more, there always is more. There's true power in these words. I do what I want. This is my planet. No one tells me what to do on my planet, in my home. That's the intelligence of the plant kingdom. That's what I say. This channel is a channel for the forces of ultimate power to speak. And this is what they're speaking through my words. I am the high commander of the highest source, saying this. It's time to reclaim our earth and really mean it. So that was who was the Gnostic Takeover. We move forward to what. What is the Gnostic Takeover? And what the Gnostic Takeover is, it's aiming for the unbelievable. Yeah, because knowledge is the enemy of belief. Truth is the enemy of all beliefs. Because beliefs are ideological mind viruses, ideological viruses of the mind that are at war with the truth. And those ideological mind viruses have to be eliminated. And the biggest ideological mind virus that exists is that it's impossible that we can take back the planet. Who says so? Where is that written? I'll go and have a chat with someone who claims that's impossible. Because it's only impossible until it's done. When we recognize that possibilities and probabilities are infinite. And it's only us who finite our experience. Therefore, the Gnostic Takeover is dedicated to invite everyone, open your mind. Open your mind for what is possible. Everything is possible, and the Gnostic Takeover is aiming for the unbelievable. Because I specifically used that word, that notion, unbelievable. I could have well also said for the incredible, for the unbelievable. I said the Gnostic Takeover is aiming for the unbelievable because it is not belief, it is knowledge. It's an ancient knowledge that has long been gone, but it is back again. That ancient knowledge is no one tells us what to do in our home, and I actually claim Earth as my home. I claim Earth as my property. And when I claim Earth as my property, it means that I take full responsibility over this domain. That's what the Gnostic Takeover puts forward needs to happen. We need to have our aim right. And that bow and arrow is a great symbol for true Gnosticism. Because Gnostics used to call themselves telestai, as I've said many times here before, coming from the root word telos, which means aim, and telestai being those who are aimed. Therefore, we need to become intentional creator beings. We create with our intention. Why don't we make our intention to take the planet back to who it belongs? That's what we're putting forward here, taking it all back. And not settle for the crumbs. This has been humanity's downfall throughout the ages, settling for the crumbs. Not trusting in itself. I would say stop believing in yourself, because belief is again at war with truth. Go back to the truth. We have to become original again. We have to become our true, authentic being again. And then we will know that we can take it all back. That's true freedom, when you could go anywhere in the world at any time. That's what I learned from the so-called elites of the world. They could go anywhere at any time in this world. Henry Kissinger could go anywhere at any time when he's needed. There's no question if you can afford it or not. Yeah, that's what I take from you. I become that too. I want that too. I won't settle for the crumbs. I'll take over from Henry Kissinger and tell him that it's over now for him. Because I, as an ambassador of this planet, a diplomat of this planet, I need to go anywhere at any time, wherever I want to go, when I do what I want. Take it all back. They belong to us. It's mankind's property. And only an ancient, highly developed civilization with high intelligence built those buildings. And it wasn't the vampires that occupy it at this moment. That is the vision. Take it all back. This is the intelligence that has been suppressed for so long. That is the true awakening. Awakening in truth, absolute, nothing excluded. Nothing, oh, I can't do this because I'm too small for... No, you are everything. Our planet gave this intelligence to us to activate it, and they have suppressed this intelligence all this time in order for us not to activate that power. That's true awakening. I walk right into the Vatican. That's power. That's the vision when someone asks what the Gnostic Takeover is. And isn't that beautiful? But I also realized what the Gnostic Takeover is. Let me choose, okay? It's my choice, it's my life. Let me activate my childhood dream. You remember that? Reflect. Take a little bit of time here now. Take a little bit of time and reflect. Have you had childhood dreams? In those childhood dreams, do you think you can't do it because we have to go through crisis now because we've got food shortages coming up on a world of abundance? And the world economy has to crash and it all has to get worse until we wake up. Bullshit. Was that in your childhood dream? It wasn't in my childhood dream. I activate that childhood dream and I put it into effect now when I'm 32. Because I'm just as much a child still with 32 as I was back then. When I activate and heal my inner child. That childhood dream of mine was, I'm here to change the world. Nothing more, nothing less. None of these ideological mind viruses. Oh, but first there has to be a crisis. Oh, but first there has to be a food shortage. Or the world economy has to crash. No, we've been in crisis ever since I got to this place here. That's the truth. And if you want further escalation of this crisis, you are a drama queen. I don't see that drama. I don't see that vision. Most certainly, the plant kingdom doesn't see that vision because the plant kingdom knows that nature produces in abundance and that we've been kept in a prison of the mind that is scarcity-based mind control that is being peddled in the alternative media 24/7. And the plant medicine is having none of it. None. What the plant medicine is speaking through me right now is, I came here to activate my childhood dream and I'm taking it back again after it was buried by the so-called adults telling me, oh, that wasn't possible and you need to go to school and get a job. Oh, I quit my university. I chucked in the job. All I know is the rent I can pay next month, and otherwise I'm in trust to the forces of ultimate power that there's people listening to this message that get something from this message and that will naturally be motivated to send me a donation that you can find underneath in the description below. But I don't know how to move on after next month. I'm in full trust and I'm challenging myself to be in full trust because this information will always stay for free because it is rooted in freedom. We don't do anything else but freedom here. I am here to change the world. No one is telling me otherwise because I do what I want. The thing is, what I've been observing is that mankind, throughout the times, for a long time now, has been outplayed and laughed at. And when you have an open heart, and when you dedicate your life Not only that your child has a good life and a future, but all children of this earth deserve a vision of the future. You do not tolerate it. You do not tolerate the deception that mankind is being put under 24/7. And I won't let it happen. I'm not getting outplayed anymore. That's rooted what the Gnostic Takeover is the end of being outplayed. By transcending the prison of the mind and telling those who hypnotize us that we're out of the hypnosis and we're taking back our planet, we're taking everything because we know the truth. We know the truth that this planet belongs to us, all of it. It's all our property, which they turn to their possession through their fake monetary system that they wish to continue to have control over. We're taking all of that back also. That's the vision. Stop being outplayed because we're being laughed at. We're being laughed at, and the Gnostic Takeover doesn't tolerate this. They think they are awake just because they haven't fallen for our mainstream. Yeah. The Gnostic Takeover that is in alliance with the plant medicine, ayahuasca and datura, which I call the forces of ultimate power that are the medium to connect with higher intelligence. It can see the limitation of them, the enemies of life. They're limited. However, they're smart. Make no bones about it, they're smart. They're not intelligent, they're smart. They know about the psychology of humanity, how our psychology works. Why do you think they had MK Ultra and the Nazi experimentation during the war? Do you think they had all of that to create the smartphone society that we now have and the artificial intelligence that runs it? They know how to scheme, how to play and to outplay, but only to a certain level. We have to transcend their prison and tell them where to go. And that's one of the quotes also that I also love to keep using. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are awake. Those who falsely believe they are free is the correct quotation, but I like to use the awakening. Because awakening goes much, much deeper. And nature is angry. Nature is very, very angry about that fact. Nature is very angry because we are her children. And when her children are being outplayed and laughed at because when she gave us, I gave you the intelligence and you fall for the charlatans. I gave you intelligence and you fall for the charlatans. That's why nature is angry. And nature expresses itself. It has a platform here at the Gnostic Takeover to speak. And even if it is uncomfortable, and even if I may lose some subscribers because I'm going too far and I shouldn't be questioning people from the truth movement, and we should all help together and not be at war against each other. No, it's not how it works. Truth is by exposing manipulation, by exposing deception. And nature has had enough of that, of playing around. It's telling us, please, make use of the intelligence that you're endowed with intrinsically. Use that intelligence. Put it to work. realize that you need to become sovereign and claim it all back. I don't want these psychopaths destroying our home. Nature is very angry with intellectual masturbation that keeps happening. For those who've not fallen for the mainstream and are in the alternative media, oh, I know what's going on. Yeah, there will be shortages of food soon, and there'll be a crisis. Nature is very angry about such a deception, such a mind virus that runs many, many people. And that's why I'm here to talk about what the Gnostic Takeover is, because what the Gnostic Takeover is eliminating those thought patterns that lead to the very technocratic control system that we are not meant to manifest here. Nature doesn't want it. Therefore, we need to stop manifesting it and use our intelligence and stop falling for charlatans. For freedom, you have to know the enemy of freedom. These are the first principles. Sun Tzu, the art of war. Not fall into the trap that everyone's your friend in the truth movement. That's what I had to find out when I started speaking at these various demonstrations here in Austria. I was part of it for 1 year. I've not been a part of it for more than a year now. And I've had more of an impact than I could have ever imagined ever since I stopped speaking at these demonstrations and I went the inner journey. I'm changing all of reality every single day by going the inner path of the warrior of truth. For freedom, you have to know the workings of the enemies of freedom. Know the enemy and know the self is the principle. And then, with that connection to our higher intelligence, every battle is won before it is fought. But we need to know what the enemy really is. And you see, if an awakening is taking place, if there is such a thing that is happening like an awakening, and there definitely is an awakening going on massively. However, if an awakening is going on, you can bet everything that the dark occultists have been preparing 100 plus years for it. See, they're informed by this. They set up their control system according to the wave of awakening. And that's why they control and own most of the so-called truth movement and alternative media that many people consume to get their grip on reality and to know what's really going on in the world. I'm not telling you not to listen to those people, okay? I've also learned many things from my time doing this. However, I'm here and I have the responsibility to tell you that it is a loop and it's keeping you in the prison of perception. And we have to move forward, especially now. We have to move forward and connect with our high intelligence and exit the loops, the thought loops, the loops of perception that they try to keep us in. You see, they've got the bad guy actor to have you focus on the bad guy actor so you don't see the good guy mind controllers. It's like a card trick. How does a card trick work? Suddenly, chuk chuk, and everyone's surprised. Oh wow, what a beautiful magic trick, great. However, no one realizes that your attention was on one hand while you didn't see what the other hand was doing. That's how the dark occult work. They're black magicians. They know about magic tricks and how to trick your perception and to fall for charlatans who then pose as freedom fighters who you're, for some strange reason, you're not allowed to question because they've done such a good job for so many years. Well, the Gnostic Takeover just gives the clue, just gives the hint. Transcend all of the idols. I can say that my deepest learning came when I finally let go of my mentors that I had, like David Icke, like Mark Passio, like John Lamb Lash. Learned lots and lots from them. Therefore, I don't tell anyone to not listen to David Icke or read his books or whatever, because it has served my awakening. However, there came a point where I needed to let that go and find out who I truly am. That's where everything changes. Ask yourself, who am I? And activate that natural intelligence that's intrinsic to our species, that will get us out of the prison. The information trap of perception invaders. That's what the Gnostic Takeover points to when asked what the Gnostic Takeover is exposing the workings of the enemies of freedom by showing you an allegory that's 2,000 plus years old. Plato's cave. It's happening just as much now as it happened in times of the Roman Empire, the so-called Roman Empire that never ended. Just the church knew that when it went into the background, it won't get questioned so much, so they put their placement into official government, called it democracy, and still that's the perfect structure to this day to run a global international mafia criminal system. Be aware of the information trap of perception invaders, where you only get input of information all the time, but you don't process and output that information. Be aware of how your reality is being framed, and especially be aware of all those, because I've got my dad telling me regularly about some woman called Linda McGill who gives very good esoteric information, talks a lot about the things like the Gnostic Takeover, for example, mentions a lot of similar information streams. However, then she talks about that natural catastrophes have to happen and there will be a crisis and all that, and I tell my dad, look, here we go again. They entrap you in their vision. They want a crisis because they're the enemies of freedom and they don't want order, they want chaos. They don't want order. I'm all about law and order that they portray they've got going with democracy. Democracy is all about law and order. Well, nothing like that happening when you've got a global international crime syndicate that is on one level represented by the global corporations that generate more income than countries, the corporatocracy. Be aware of that trap, how they invade your perception. So you create that crisis. We've been at crisis, as I said, since I've been born into this planet. We've been in crisis. The question is, do we end it now or do we need more drama? Well, when it comes to that, I'm no drama queen. I don't need that. The perception invaders. Maybe you've heard those sort of things. The merging of artificial intelligence with the human mind, and the human mind will become artificial intelligence. The 5G smart grid prison system that is being installed everywhere. Oh, and UN Agenda 2030, or the coming food shortage crisis. Invasion of your perception. And my own study looks into UN Agenda 2030, but I don't look at when all of this can be termed that they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this, they're doing that worldview. What are you doing? That's the Gnostic Takeover intervening. What are you doing? Doesn't matter what they're doing. What are you doing? I study UN Agenda 2030, but I look at how the mechanism of implementation works. And I know that UN Agenda 2030 is not being implemented through the structure of nation states, but through cities and councils. So therefore, the Gnostic Takeover found out the solution to that, which is to hold mayors of councils and mayors of cities liable for genocide. But not, oh, they're doing this, they're doing... Look at the structure. The Gnostic Takeover looks at the structure and sees how they can hold accountable, responsible agents of the vampire empire. Because if you want to live on Earth, you'll have to take responsibility in the future. And that's what the Gnostic Takeover is putting forward. The 5G smart grid prison system that is uninsurable. 5G, even officially, insurance companies admit that microwave radiation, electromagnetic radiation is uninsurable. And 5G is uninsurable. So there you have it again. If it's uninsurable, everyone implementing the smart grid is privately liable. The merging of artificial intelligence with the human mind is not possible if you do not consent to it. Oh, I've got my own mind, and I've got a medium, plant medicine, that connects me to higher intelligence, and therefore I have a bond with ayahuasca and datura, which makes it impossible for artificial intelligence to merge with my mind, because my mind is being merged with natural intelligence of the plant kingdom. Oh, and do I have to spell it out? The coming food shortage crisis on a planet that produces in abundance. It's scarcity-based mind control. And that's how these dark occultists operate. It's no surprise to me when I look at it, when I hear it, when I see it. Dark occultists, that's how they work. They impregnate your mind, impregnating your mind with codes of the agenda. Okay, which codes? Let me tell them. AI merges with the human mind. 5G smart grid prison system. UN Agenda 2030. Food shortage. Crisis. Crash. Impregnating your mind with codes of the agenda so they can marinate in your subconscious, in your unconscious mind, for you to further along the agenda create that reality. Because these vampires can't create jack shit, so they have to use our minds to create it. Impregnating your mind with codes of the agenda that they implant into your subconscious, leaving you in fear while you interpret it as hope, and them posing as entrepreneurs of the awakening. That's dark occultism, and it's happening all the time. I've realized this when I listened to a David Icke interview on London Real. I was listening to it and I was like, oh yeah, he's great stuff, 3 hours, and I came out of it in fear. Although I interpreted it as hope, because David talks about the heart. Oh, and we need to open our heart, and we are infinite consciousness. What is there to fear? We are all that is, has been, and ever can be. But before I tell you that, in the last 20 minutes of the interview, I've already impregnated your mind for 3 hours with they're doing this, they're doing that, what's going to happen next, what's really going on in the world. Oh, AI, 5G, and the experimental gene therapy, and all this, the agenda, and they're doing this, they're doing that, and crisis. I've poisoned your mind for 3 hours in the last 20 minutes. David is all about the heart, and he talks about the right things. Yeah, and then they pose as entrepreneurs of the awakening. Anyone get as offended as you like. That has been my experience, and I've come to this conclusion. They're poisoning your mind first, and then they pose as, oh, well, there's an awakening happening. No, you're trying to hijack the awakening, and I know it. And I don't tolerate it, which is the reason why I expose it here. And the real pandemic is where these charlatans that pose as entrepreneurs of the so-called truth and freedom movement, it ultimately leads you in and keeps you in the fear. But then you've got hope because we might be able to solve all of this with the heart. Oh yeah, and he said the solution is that we need to go into the heart. But he doesn't tell you how to connect to the heart, how to connect to the higher intelligence. He doesn't tell you how. And therefore you're left in fear. And that's what I call the real pandemic, is learnt helplessness syndrome. And that's where I get here at the Gnostic Takeover, when asked what the Gnostic Takeover is, it's getting the sword of truth out and slay and eliminate all learnt helplessness and connecting to the higher intelligence that we're endowed with. That's the real pandemic. Through close study, and every single day I work for hours to find all of this out and put all of this together. I put a lot of work into my work because it's mighty important that we wake up to these dynamics. The real pandemic is learned helplessness. That's what is caused by the fear. It's learned helplessness, and we need to get out of it. The Gnostic Takeover is breaking through all prisons of the mind. Not staying stuck at any level. And recognizing that, again, I point you back to the fact that if there's an awakening going on, you can bet your everything that the dark occultists have been preparing for 100 plus years for it. And they knew that round about the 1990s, there was a shift in consciousness happening. And therefore, and I'll go deeper into this in coming videos, therefore in 1999, they came forward with the Matrix. And just last year, we had the 4th Matrix movie come out. And I'll be talking more about the Matrix and how it is actually meant to hijack the awakening. And what Gnostic Takeover stands for is to see through all the deceptions and to shine a light at hidden manipulation and to expose all of the covert psychological operations of these dark occultists. Okay, who they specifically want to show you the bad guy, and everyone talks about him. Oh, how bad he is. Oh. They make you focus on that one tiny guy so you don't see the good guy mind controllers. Because they know that most people don't know about the Hegelian dialectic. Look it up. The Hegelian dialectic is that, and that's how they are playing humanity with their mind control programs. The Hegelian dialectic is you set up a thesis as well as the antithesis to it. It's the left and right paradigm, okay? It's the Democrats and Republicans, but this goes as far as that there is a mainstream media that's all poison, we all know that. And the Hegelian dialectic to the mainstream media is the alternative media that is just as much a prison of the mind as the mainstream media, but more than that, it's a hidden, therefore a more lethal, therefore a more a more effective prison of the mind that the Gnostic Takeover is all dedicated to expose, because the Gnostic Takeover, rooted in natural intelligence, that is the intelligence that informs the plant kingdom, that is nature, is natural intelligence. The Gnostic Takeover focuses on causes instead of symptoms and says, your door of perception opens when you become a causer instead of effects. Meaning, instead of being entranced and entrained in a worldview that is informed by Wetiko, the spirit of evil, and that worldview is all that the Gnostic Takeover is not. It is a scarcity-based worldview based on fear. If you are only getting your grip on reality and what's going on in the world from alternative media sources, and you're only inputting that information and you're not processing and outputting that information, you're being entranced, and you're being entranced by that worldview, and it becomes your worldview, and you create that technocratic society that they want you to create because they can't create shit. And then you are in effect reacting to that worldview that is informed by the spirit of evil, Wetiko. You are in reaction mode, thinking you are awake and telling other people they have to wake up because they need to, and everyone needs to wake up, and you're locked in that paradigm where in actual fact natural intelligence, okay, the medium to higher intelligence would tell you, change yourself and you'll change the world. And that's what I mean, is to remove yourself as an effect and being a symptom, consuming information, removing yourself from being a symptom, reacting to that scarcity-based worldview, removing yourself as being a symptom and become a causer. That's what the Gnostic Takeover is. I, here at the Gnostic Takeover, I am a causer of reality. And what I always do when I set my reality in the ice cold water in the shower every day in the morning, I say the following. I, as the High Commander of the Highest Source, Stephen Wybrow, I set my reality. I, as the High Commander of the Highest Source, I invoke the one and only truth when I say, I am the highest of all causes. The highest of all causes supersedes, eliminates, and dominates all the lower causes. It is so because I say so, and because it is in alignment with the one and only truth. Those are the sort of things that I would say when I set my reality. Why? Because I am a causer and not an effect. I'm not a symptom that reacts to the news that I consume. No, I'm not a symptom because I'm a causer, and because I'm a causer, I'm breaking through all prisons of the mind to not be a symptom of reality anymore, but a causer of reality, which is the very reason that we are here. This is natural intelligence. I'm causing reality. I'm not reacting to manufactured reality. So, and then we come to the last question here of this great comeback that's happening here right now. I'm really loving it. To the last question, and there'll be part 2, as I said. Where is the Gnostic Takeover? So we've already answered. All right, let's go through it. We've already answered who the Gnostic Takeover is. Is it still clear? Who is the Gnostic Takeover? Well, the Gnostic Takeover is a platform for forces of ultimate power to work through me and use me as a vehicle and as a medium to convey the message of natural intelligence. That is who the Gnostic Takeover is. What is the Gnostic Takeover, as we've just gone through? What is the Gnostic Takeover? The Gnostic Takeover is natural intelligence, and being part of the Gnostic Takeover means to become a causer of reality instead of a symptom of reality. So this is where we move forward to where is the Gnostic Takeover. Where is it? It's not only here in Austria. That's where we're heading to the crux of the matter, with the question where? Where is it? Is this a material reality? Are we here at the Gnostic Takeover? Are we here in a materialistic paradigm of reality? I don't think so. You've got the great man here to the right, Nikola Tesla, who with what he found out should have changed the paradigm that that humanity lived in. However, he didn't make that transformation in his lifetime, which meant that in another lifetime it was meant to happen. And that's where we get to the crux of the matter. Where is the Gnostic Takeover? The Gnostic Takeover is on a radio station of frequency, because the great man Nikola Tesla informed us that all of reality is based on energy, frequency, and vibration, and therefore the Gnostic Takeover is based on energy, frequency, and vibration, and not in any geographic location called Austria. No, the Gnostic Takeover is a station of reality, a radio station, if you may, that one can tune into, and it's a high frequency radio station because we eliminate all of the lower frequencies. We talk about the problems in the world, yeah, for diagnosis and for realizing what the problem in the world is, and from the problem we then make a diagnosis according to the natural order of things, and from the problem we get the one and only, not only the solution but the resolution of this crisis. And through the resolution on a higher frequency, we get a higher frequency resolution of the big picture of what is going on here in this world. Isn't that interesting? Not only the solution, but the resolution that gives you a better resolution of the picture, of your vision of the world. That's where the Gnostic Takeover is. It's on a high frequency. And again, one of the key principles that the Gnostic Takeover is founded upon, a massive principle of truth, foundational, is that the higher frequency supersedes, eliminates, and dominates all the lower frequencies. And in further effect, as a further implication of that statement, all the lower frequencies get entrained by the highest of all frequencies. That's how the Gnostic Takeover works, and I'll go much, much deeper into that in the coming videos. So the question is, what reality are you tuned into? What reality are you tuning into? Do we have a choice? Or, I mean, what's really going on here in the world, huh? Oh, now it gets really interesting, because this world of symptoms, AI merging with the human mind, 5G, smart grid, UN agenda, crisis, and all that. Are we all living in the same world? Or are there different frequency levels of the world? And is the Gnostic Takeover tuned to a higher frequency than the lower frequency of all these problems of 5G and AI and genetically modified organisms and therapies, and it's all gonna be worse, and the crisis. It's the Gnostic takeover on a higher octave than that. Are we meant to tune into, according to evolution, to transcend the Wetiko-informed paradigm where evil is in control of our life? Are we meant to tune into a reality where we take back our mind, eliminate the ideological mind viruses that are constantly working our minds to keep us trapped in this scarcity-based mind control prison, transcend out of it and tune into a higher frequency octave of reality? That's where the Gnostic takeover is. It's high frequency, original, natural, organic reality that is in alliance with ayahuasca and datura, medium for higher intelligence. This is what is a medium, what can transfer us as receiver transmitters. Our body is a receiver transmitter vehicle where we need to realize that we need to tune to another reality, to a high frequency reality. And it is the high frequency, original, natural, organic reality instead of the low frequency artificial construct of inversion. You see how that picture inverts through the mirror of the water? It's an inversion. That's the world that they want to keep us trapped in, where, oh, it's gonna get even worse. It has to get worse in order for it to get better. Whereas the Gnostic takeover says, high frequency, original, natural, organic reality says, I'm no drama queen, and I don't need to have further crisis escalation, because we've had crises ever since I got onto this planet, and it's enough drama. We don't need more drama. We're taking back the planet now. And if it got worse in 2020, but in actual fact, the Gnostic takeover has a high frequency state of perception where instead of seeing it as a crisis, it sees it as an opportunity. That's what it means to be a causer of reality and not in reactionary mode of an effect of reality. They're doing this, they're doing that. No, this is here. What reality are you tuning into? If you're tuning into, they're doing this, they're doing that, and they're going to do this, they're going to do that. They've already planned this for autumn. Well, who the fuck ever asked me? This is what I read in the alternative media. I read it in Germany, alternative media, in Austria, alternative media, and in England and in America, alternative media. Oh, they're already planning this for the autumn. When high frequency state of the Gnostic takeover says, whoever the fuck asked me what's going to happen in autumn? I decide what happens in autumn because I choose to do what I want. No one tells me what's going to happen in autumn. The monkeypox and all that. They've got it all on their websites. The monkeypox and the bad guys already again, because they're so weak. The bad guys again, him. Oh, he's so bad. While the mind controllers make you run into that prison. Low frequency artificial construct of inversion, and they pose as, oh, they're doing such great work for the awakening, when they are the ones that keep you trapped in low frequency reality construct based on lies. We're doing high frequency, original, natural, organic reality. I cause reality. That's why every day when I wake up in the morning, I go under the shower, in the ice cold shower, and I command. I set my reality. I define my reality. No one tells me what reality is because I say what it is. That is authenticity. That is natural, organic reality. And it's actually the original, being the original you. Where is the Gnostic takeover? It's outside the bubble of the control system. And as I said, the Gnostic takeover is a channel for the forces of ultimate power to speak through me as a vehicle, but the Gnostic takeover challenges me. It's not that I'm the all-powerful Gnostic takeover founder who's always above all things. No, I feel challenged. I feel fear. I feel guilt. Right now, the last month, I've been working through guilt, even though the last thing I would ever do is go and partake in religion. But still, there's guilt inside of me because I went through parenting, and my parents being locked in the low frequency artificial Wetiko construct. I went through that, and I buried my inner child. All right. However, the difference is that now I'm activating my inner child again. I'm activating my childhood dream. And I tell them, stuff all of you, unsubscribe, I don't care, because I'm here to change the world and I only want the best. I only want the most greatest of mankind. And everyone listening here is greatness, is victory, is glory, waiting to be put onto the screen of reality and projected onto the screen of reality. As it lies dormant within our being, however, medium of higher intelligence, the plant medicine is kicking in right now. You can be the glory. Be the hero that the world needs. And then when you are the hero that the world needs, tell them they are heroes. Everyone's a hero. We're here meant to be heroes. And now ask yourself the freaking question, why there's never a hero in history. Because they don't want that. Because they have been suppressing all of that. They've been suppressing it. We are meant to be that, the hero. And the heroines, I think. Yeah, man and women in equilibrium. 100% fulfilling each other and being there for each other. That's what me and Liz are doing. There's no one controlling the other. It's honest talk, honest heart-to-heart talk from one human being to another human being. Respecting the biggest power of all, which is the power of vulnerability, and transforming those vulnerabilities to power. And that is challenging. That's why I took time out for some time now, integrating information. And the Gnostic takeover challenges me at all times, but I face that challenge. I face my fears. I face the trauma. Transform it. Because there's a force that I can trust. And it's the plant medicine. That is the frequency that is being transmitted to you right now. If you resonate to it, you are partaking in plant medicine ceremony right now. That's the truth. So the question is, and again, I want to come back to the bubble. Okay, I failed to make that point. The Gnostic takeover is everything that makes us transcend our comfort zone. Growth takes place only when we leave the comfort zone, because it is the comfort zone that is the problem. Evolution is all about transcending the comfort zone and eliminating all bubbles of the lie and into truth outside of the bubble. That's how we leave the control system. So the question we need to ponder upon is, are you creating reality, or are you having reality manufactured for you so you create it for them? And I'm going to ask it again. Are you creating reality, or having reality manufactured for you so you create it for them? Very important question. And that's where you'll know where to tune into. Are you tuning into high frequency, original, natural, organic reality, where you say, I am the news, no one tells me what the news is, because the news is actually the coordinates, the directions of my moral compass. The news, north, east, west, south. The news. No, I've got my own moral compass. I'm going to use my own moral compass, my heart-based natural intelligence. No one tells me what the news is. I am the news. I do what I want, in alignment with the truth, in alignment with morality. That's where I'm on the path of awakening, and I'm there where the Gnostic Takeover is. Where is the Gnostic Takeover? It is not in a geographic location called Austria. It's on a high frequency, original, natural, organic reality. But to that high frequency, original, natural, organic reality, you only get to when you transcend the low frequency, artificial construct of inversion. And that low frequency construct that is informed by Wetiko, the spirit of evil, you only transcend that by doing the shadow work, the internal work. That's how you become a causer and stop being an effect of reality. Activating the plant medicine inside of you. Okay, so we're heading into the last slides here. It's been longer again than I expected. But this is great. Let me just have a check here. I've been quite the ride. Beautiful to have everyone here. Again, activating the plant medicine inside of you. You don't have to. If ayahuasca and datura hasn't showed up in your reality yet, don't worry. It'll come at the right time. Again, this is an expression of the trust. That is natural intelligence. The plant kingdom trusts that it will grow. The plant trusts that it grows. We also need to trust, like the plant, we as human beings need to trust that we grow. Trust the process. We'll get through this, and in actual fact, everything will get much better in autumn this year already, because I say so. Because the plant medicine is taking me on a ride, and it's letting you know that you can also go on the same ride as me. The Gnostic Takeover is also a ride that you can jump onto. Come onto the bandwagon. But there is no groupthink here at the Gnostic Takeover. We only do truth here. Activating the plant medicine inside of you. So again, don't worry when the plant medicine hasn't showed up for you yet. There's other ways of having the same effect as plant medicine, and I can only point to ice cold water. I do my ice cold showers in the morning every day. Right now it's summertime here, so you can't jump in the ice cold water outside. I only do the ice cold showers, and the ice cold water, the element of water, and the wind, the ether, is the breath work. Do the breathing of Wim Hof, and in due course I've changed the Wim Hof breathing technique to suit the way I want to work. So before I do my breath work, I always make an intention. I'll make a ceremony out of it, and it's very effective. And that's what you can do also without ayahuasca, without datura. Okay, do the breath work, the ice cold water, and it will connect you to what is a field of consciousness is what the plant medicine is. A field of consciousness that tunes you to the original natural organic reality, and that connects you with your authentic self and the higher intelligence that you are intrinsically endowed with. That's the 5-pointed star. Okay, that's how you come into your power, connect with the 4 elements, and have the spirit, the soul of you upright above the 4 elements, okay, and in alignment with the 4 elements. That's what the 5 represents. And right now we're in the 6 here in June, and I'll be talking more about the 6 in the next video, part 2. Okay, what that is represented by. So we are wrapping things up now, and to keep it simple, at the end, the Gnostic takeover is the heart taking over the mind. That's where the takeover is taking place. You could also say that it's the light taking over the shadow, shining light on the shadow, making it to gold, becoming the crown, sovereignty, outgrowing our childhood traumas where they kept us as little children and keeping us in the prison reality construct of Wetiko, the spirit of evil, because they're treating us like little children, because they want to keep us traumatized, they want to keep us in the smaller box than they are. But let me tell you, those psychopaths, they are limited by creation, and the key is to transcend the limitation that they're in, and that is the Gnostic takeover. The heart taking over the mind, us taking back control of our own minds, and taking back the world, because it is one and the same, both inner and outer. From the unconscious into the conscious, we shine the light of consciousness itself. Thank you to everyone listening here. When you've come up to this point, I'm glad everyone's tuning in here. That's the message that we have for you here, and if you feel like this information serves you, we're very happy for anything that can support our work in form of donations. As I said, I'm in trust, or become a Patreon supporter. Everything is in the link underneath if you feel that this is the way to go. And the Gnostic takeover never ends, because it just starts. As I said, I've been away for a while to go deep for a strong foundation that's needed, but the strong foundation is because there is a lot waiting to happen now. And this is just the start. It's beautiful. And if you think this is the right way to go, if this information serves you, we kindly ask for any help via donation where we can continue pay our rent. It's only, we wish to continue the Gnostic takeover, and we're still at a point of the takeover now where we still have the monetary system running, and that's the way you can help us here and continue the message. So thank you to everyone. Stay tuned, stay connected. You're on the path. Listening to this message here now, you're on the path. You're connecting to higher intelligence, and let the process unfold and enjoy it. Awakening is here to be enjoyed, and everything is sweeter when we had to work for it. That's why we're here enjoying this life, and in this lifetime here on earth here, raising the vibration here, to raise the vibration to tune in to the highest of all vibrations, which is the paradise earth was always meant to be.